Hello y'all, welcome back to my channel. 50/50 Defense Attorney B is back, so that means we have some updates on the case to get through. Here are the sections and topics that we're going to be discussing today. This time the links, articles, and sources will all be in the description box below instead of being in a pinned comment. Anyways, you all know why we're here, so let's just jump right into this video. As I left off at the end of the last video, this lawsuit of 50/50 versus Attract has gotten so much attention nationally that crooked Korean politicians are trying to get involved and use it to push their own agenda. The thread by TMI K-pop on Twitter reads, which I don't recommend following by the way because they seem to be biased against the members as well, but this is important to note. On August 25th at the plenary session, Representative Lee Young asked Park Bo-gyun, Minister of Culture, Sports, Tourism, if he was aware of the 50/50 controversy. Minister Park said that it was inappropriate to discuss specific details, but that he was watching the situation through a lens of fairness. Lee said that 50/50 was selected for music business that Disney invested in, but the contract was canceled due to this controversy and that it was a loss of Korea. He requested investigation into tampering in the entertainment industry. This case is only the tip of the iceberg, he said, and there have been cases in the past where singers deliberately caused disputes with their current agency in order to move to agencies that offer more favorable conditions. Lee said that this is similar to situations in the technology industry where larger companies steal from small businesses. For small/medium-sized businesses, the entertainer is the most valuable asset. Okay, so if the entertainer is recognized as the most valuable asset to these companies, then why the hell are they not treated as such? Treat idols like human beings with the respect that they deserve if you want to make sure that they don't abandon you for another company who will. They're taking this at JHJ's word and labeling the situation as tampering, which it is not, and are trying to create a bill that would not only oppose the LSG Act, which was not only created from the situation with Lee Sung-gi, which we will get into a little bit, but it was also created from Luna's case against BBC and Omega X's case. And this would strip idols of the very few rights that they have in the first place in order to protect corporations from idols. Yes, I'm being serious. The industry that's obsessed with debuting kids and teenagers want to create bills to protect the corporations where old-ass men are at the top of the food chain from these big, mean, and scary teenagers. Oh no! Anyways, here's some reaction to the initial news. The audacity to expect the girls to put up with the mistreatment just so Korea can have some more attention makes me so angry. Another user posts, LMFAO, that entertainment lobby in Korea must be crazy. Sometimes I wish that this sense would have made headlines outside of Korea, so that way people really know how dark this industry is and stopped giving them their money. Another user writes, more losses will come if they do not address the dark side of the industry soon. I swear to God, if abuse towards artists is left condoned, and if 50/50 doesn't get the justice that they deserve, I'll leave that dirty genre for good. Someone else added, seriously, that's all they care about. Gross. Someone else posted, it is obvious the K-pop industry is using 50/50 to oppose the LSG Act. JHJ's recommended lawyer letter on June 16th, then started media play June 23rd. 7 days. Enough time for him to cry to KEPA and co. They used saved up dirt on to come up with this tampering story. Open your eyes. This user then adds, Disney investment, if true, is unknown to the general public, only known to insiders. Lends credence to suspicion that KEPA and co. are using their made-up tampering story to oppose the LSG Act, which was proposed by incumbent party. Opposition party has joined the circus. However, truth is on our side. For those of you who do not know, the Lee Sung-gi Act or LSG Act is a law in Korea that requires companies to be financially transparent with their artists and idols. More specifically, approved back in April of this year, the Lee Sung-gi Prevention Act was the result of the case of Lee Sung-gi, who in his 18 years of a career under a slave contract was never paid for his music. This law was made to protect young idols and trainees from getting into exploitative contracts. Labels are obligated to have financial transparency and working hour limits to avoid any harm on these idols and trainees. It is also prohibited for labels to make or force idols and trainees on dropping out or be absent from school, or any act that may threaten the health or safety of minors, such as imposing physical appearance, assault, abusive language, sexual harassment, etc. Labels are also mandated to designate a person in charge of youth protection who will help to guarantee the human rights of young entertainers. One of the reasons 50/50 sued Attract was denial of financial transparency, which, as explained before, was in their right, and by denying that to the group, Attract was breaking the LSG Act. This law helps idols and trainees avoid big debts made by their labels. By having financial transparency, labels can't hide the trainee debt or profits, which they use to keep idols working nonstop without being able to know if their debt was being paid or them ever getting paid. The politician against the LSG Act, Lee Young, claimed that he wants to make sure that idol agency contracts are now in favor of the company, as if contracts in K-pop didn't always benefit the company since the beginning of K-pop, and they're the ones who create the contracts in the first place. But whatever. And you want to know what's interesting? JHJ keeps bitching to the media about how Sion is gaslighting the members, and this kind of tampering must be punished by the law. Like, okay, if that's the case, then why the fuck are these politicians trying to pin this on the idols instead of corrupt CEOs to prevent poaching within the industry? Like, this shit is not adding up at all. And obviously the politicians and everyone in the industry knows what's really going on. They're just trying to very poorly cloak it under the guise of some sort of justice. And even still, these morons have the nerve to react to this, saying nonsense like, OMG, look at the mess that 50/50 caused. This is all their fault, and thanks 50/50. Like, I knew people were stupid, but I didn't think that there was any way that y'all were seriously this stupid. They only have the balls to propose this bill in the first place because morons like you are too busy blaming a group of teenage girls to see how the industry is literally pushing an agenda against 50/50 and idols as a whole by twisting the story around in order to garner sympathy and support for companies instead. K-Nets and K-pop company stans all ran to defend the CEO and that company just to hate on the members. And because it seems like everyone is on the side of the company in the first place, they feel comfortable enough to even try to push more bills in favor of K-pop companies and guising the case under tampering when it is pretty damn clear who is in the wrong here. At the end of the day, do they really think this will make K-pop more popular in the West in the long run? Because a lot of the comments I've been seeing allude to people being turned off from K-pop because of how backwards the reaction to this case has been. I mean, if idols being signed into slave contracts with these corporations turns into the norm, why would we as the consumers want to support the faceless rich old men who are the puppet masters behind the idols that we actually like and want to see? Like, why would we continue to give our money to someone who is directly responsible for their suffering? And why is this allowed? Like, where the hell is the UN? Why are they doing nothing about the politicians over there who are trying to make literal modern day slavery legal? At the end of the day, if this act goes through, the K-pop industry will end up cannibalizing itself. I'm calling it right now. All of this just supports my opinion that the industry is in no way ready to go global at all. But that's a video for another day. Anyways, on September 13th, Asian Junkie released an article regarding the fact that Korean politicians are seriously considering making revisions to idol agency contracts. I recommend you go read the article. It's well written and it will be in the description along with the other sources so you can check it out for yourself. Here are more reactions to the news. One case where idols were a bit too smart and they jumped to protect the agencies, but thousands of cases where the agencies are abusive and they haven't taken firm actions. Another user posts, geez, talk about a country with no workers' rights at all. Amazing that they still qualify as a modern country. Someone else posts, all of you who defended the CEO instead of 50/50 because y'all wanted to be shady towards them, are to blame for this. Someone else wrote, "Man, South Korea is really a corporate dystopia and their politics is such a shit show." Someone replies to this user saying, "The shiny object political machine is crazy over there. A man just bagged the presidential seat by riding his anti-feminist crowd while also trying to sneak in 69-hour work weeks. But at least the male voters got to own the feminists, I guess." Someone else wrote, "Been saying from the start that the industry's rush to support Attract despite their shady history was obviously politically and financially motivated in an attempt to reverse any progress made by the LSG bill and Luna's court rulings." And someone posted, "So idols demanding basic rights and minimal accountability from their agencies is threatening and problematic for the labels." Got it. Someone replied to this user saying, "In both EXO, CBX, and 50/50's case, they only asked to see the records. Then their agencies proceeded to get crazy and angry over it, which is something anyone innocent would do when asked just to reveal a financial document. Man, when I first got into K-pop, I never knew this shit could get so political. But considering that the K-pop industry is Korea's big moneymaker, and they're now using the industry to spread Korea's culture and influence across the world, along with Korea's skincare products, I guess it makes sense why K-pop and Korean politics would be so heavily intertwined with each other. But like, damn, I just wanted to listen to some good music, not get into Korean politics." On August 28th, 50/50's request for injunction of their exclusive contracts with Attract was denied by the court. This is another aspect of the case that people are spreading misinformation about. The members did not lose the lawsuit. The request to temporarily get their contract suspended got rejected, with the court stating that they are unsure if the bond between the members and the agency is completely broken, which is insanely stupid, considering that the members said that they would rather quit music than ever return to Attract, but okay. Anyways, the injunction was originally filed at the end of June on the 27th. The criminal lawsuit against JHJ and Attract wasn't filed until the 17th of August, which means that the members and their legal representatives have collected a lot more evidence to support their case since then. So this is far from over. Just a couple of days later, on the 31st, 50/50 had filed an appeal to the court's decision. Not much has happened in terms of court news since then. Right now, we're basically just playing the waiting game. So yeah, the lawsuit is still ongoing and the criminal lawsuit hasn't even begun yet. So please stop telling everyone that they lost when they're literally just getting started. Also, something I forgot to mention before I forget real quick, is that 5 members of Luna also lost their request for injunction at first, but were freed later on. So just because 50/50 lost this time doesn't mean that it's over and they have to stay with the track for the next 7 years or whenever the hell their contract ends. No, they already filed the appeal. They have more evidence. Then they should be freed eventually. So I just want to add that real quick, just before I forgot. In the middle of a literal lawsuit with their current and only girl group, Attract announced their new girl group project. Let me tell you, when I saw this, I nearly burst out laughing. Like, this loser can't be serious. Apparently, JHJ will receive an advance payment of 10 billion Korean won from some moron in Singapore by the end of this month. Now, has anyone ever even heard of fuck-ass Evergreen? No? Not just me? Right, so I don't see why people are acting like he won or we should be worried or something. Like, if he was working with a big 4 company, then I would be a little worried, but we all know that is never going to fucking happen. Evergreen and Attract are just gonna cannibalize each other in the end, just like what happened between Attract and the Givers. I don't even feel like linking the article, to be honest. It's just so ridiculous. Like, sure, just give millions of dollars to someone who has a record of being shit at managing not only money, but also groups. Like, we've seen this movie before. We all know how this is going to end. It's just so hilarious to me because for some reason, he thinks this shit is really going to work, just because he got some song submissions from other crooks. Literally telling the media how he was suicidal when 50/50 left. Like, you're really telling me that you're suicidal just because some teenage girls asked you what the fuck you were doing with their money? He's such a spineless, pathetic old man. It's so embarrassing. Also, can I just say the way he talks in these articles pisses me the fuck off? Like, he's really acting like he's some noble hero leading the fight against poaching and illegal tampering within the industry and so on and so forth. Like, shut the fuck up. You literally look so fucking silly right now. Superhero wannabe head ass. Anyways, apparently the audition is going to be open to anybody in the public in Singapore and like held at a mall. Like, this is literally so ghetto. Look at this audition posting and tell me if this screams 10 billion won to you. JHJ cutting corners because he already embezzled that 10 billion Korean won so fast before he even knew what the money was supposed to be used for. Either way, this group is going to flop big time. The new group might pop off a little bit in Korea at first because incels want to support out of spite, but let's get one thing straight. If you think that the top dogs of the K-pop industry will let that new group achieve even half of the shit that 50/50 achieved with Cupid, you got another thing coming. We will get to them in the next section, but that's one. 2, international K-pop fans hate his ass. Even the people over here who are hating on 50/50 are not going to support the new group. They don't give a shit about JHJ or Attract because they will be damned if another Nugu-ass group beats their faves again. They saw an opportunity to attack and insult the members and took it, nothing more. 3, 50/50 got insanely lucky. There is no doubt that the girls are insanely talented, but there are a lot of Nugu groups filled with talented members who quietly disappear. Simply because people never knew that them or their songs ever existed. And considering this group is being born out of controversy in the middle of a lawsuit, yeah, most people are not touching that. And 4, Koreans really do not like Southeast Asians, like at all. Like, unless Koreans are going to be flying over to Singapore to audition for this new girl group project, it's going to literally be made up of Singaporeans. And like, even an idol as popular in Korea as Hani from New Jeans was getting flack online from some incel K-nets at one point for looking too Southeast Asian. Even though she's literally fucking Vietnamese? With all of this in mind, this is literally a recipe for disaster. Destined to flop. Assuming they won't be debuting for another couple years or so, any hype surrounding this project would have been long gone by then. It'll be dead. Hopefully, by that point in time, 50/50 would have already won the lawsuit, JHJ is locked up in a cage like the animal he is, and 50/50 had already re-debuted. Now, I was originally going to include reactions to the news for this section, but most of it is just international K-pop stans telling JHJ to himself. So, we're gonna skip that. Moving on to the next section. On September 18th, for some reason, there was a survey conducted among 31 different CEOs in the K-pop industry about 50/50's future. Why the hell did they think that anyone cared about their opinion in the first place? I don't know. Why was this survey even conducted in the first place? I don't know. Probably to continue to push the agenda that the members are in the wrong, but considering the people they're asking, that is not very surprising at all. Anyways, the article states that 16 of the 31 people who filled out the survey thought negatively of 50/50 in their future, including the opinions of JYP and one of the chairmen of SM. Like, bro, I know you can't talk when you are literally in the process of being sued right now, and you literally have a track record of exploiting, abusing, and working your idols to the bone since the 2000s. Like, Jimmy, I know you not talking when your company is the same one whose idols are well documented crying on live about how overworked they are and telling another one that she had to lose 7 kilograms or 15 pounds in like a day or she was not going to debut. Like, you're worried about the wrong thing right now. Like, go sit down somewhere, corny ass. We don't want to hear about what the CEOs think. We want to hear about what the other idols think of the situation, to be honest. However, the Koreaboo article did not go on to include the opinion of the other 15 participants. Why? Why are we so afraid of people saying something positive about the members and having hope for their future? I swear, these people really get off on watching their downfall, and it's really fucking weird. Anywho, some reactions to this article. Now, there were a lot of good opinions here, but obviously I can't include everything, unfortunately, so I just shortened it down to about 8. This first user writes, "Oh, leave 50/50 alone. It was international fans who blew them up, and international fans who have continued supporting them. Candidates were useless and far behind us anyways. The girls don't even want to promote with Attract, and US international fans ain't supporting that fuck-ass company, so..." See, I'm not worried about what these fuck-ass CEOs think about Fifi. They've got international fans behind them, so if they sign to an American label, and realistically they can, then they could still be big. I'm rooting for them always, and fuck Attract. SM always owes somebody some fucking money. Entertainment thinks they have a say. MLD, who I'm pretty sure is running a Ponzi scheme. GLG, who's been out here for barely 2 years. I need them all to shut the fuck up, and I need Attract and Caribou to go bankrupt immediately. The way the industry treats 50/50 says so much. There are proofs and videos of their emotional abuse and them being starved, yelled at, and treated like garbage, but no one stands up for them. Everyone says they're being difficult and tries to paint them as entitled. FNC, MLD, DSP, KQ, JYP, and SM all should be in court too. They're scared that their groups will rise up like 50/50. The more they push this backstabber group agenda, the more they're able to run free from their own crimes. The industry titans having a worse company off. Fuck ass DSP Media being here when they have a track record of abusing idols since the 90s. Yeah, I'm not listening. Terrible article. Only half of the 30 thought negatively about 50/50's future, yet they get all the spotlight. Purposely negative skew. What about the other 15 who thought they would be able to promote? Who were they and what did they say? Why not show that? And the last one reads, "Fuck this entire industry. There's mountains of evidence of 50/50's company being downright abusive towards them, but of course these leaders of music will choose what benefits them the most." For anyone who needs it spelled out for them, K-pop companies are literally indirectly threatening their own idols, essentially telling them that if they tried the same shit that 50/50 did, they would give them the same treatment, if not worse. This is setting a very scary precedent for the future of K-pop, and I'm really surprised that more non-honeys are not talking about this. A lot is riding on the outcome of the lawsuit of 50/50 versus Attract. It really sucks that they have to carry such a huge burden on their shoulders because they are so young and haven't even been in the industry for a year, and yet here they are determining the future of it. But if it wasn't going to be 50/50, it was bound to be somebody else. Which is why I don't get why people are acting like 50/50 are so evil, when this literally could have happened to any idol currently in the industry. Looking back now, Luna got off very lucky compared to a lot of other idols. You don't even have to care about 50/50. If you cared about K-pop idols and their rights as human beings as a whole, you would be supporting the members and rooting for them to win this case to better ensure a bright future for all idols, instead of spreading misinformation to turn people against them because you hate them for whatever petty-ass reason. On September 23rd, Honeys had finally decided to officially boycott Attract only a day after Attract had released that pathetic 50/50 compilation album. I'm not even joking when I say this album is literally one of the most abysmal looking albums I have ever seen. Ever. And they have the nerve to sell that shit for $34? They are fucking bugging for real. At this point, anyone who can't see that Attract are the greedy ones here are just a bunch of sheep who only read headlines by biased idiots who barely even qualify as journalists and call it the facts. Like, okay girl, we get it. You don't know how to read, conduct basic research, or use your critical thinking skills or lack thereof. Like, we get it. For those of you who do not know exactly how a boycott works, it means that we avoid any and all purchasing of albums, singles, general merchandise, and tickets. No streaming of any content published by Attract, which also includes MVs, performance videos, etc. And yes, This does also include color-coded videos because it may have been copyright claimed by Attract, so be careful for that. This also includes unfollowing all official 50/50 accounts run by Attract, and no streaming of any 50/50 music on paid platforms. And Orbit also advised Honeys to put on ad block while using YouTube just in case. Try contacting shops to stop stocking the 50/50 album until the lawsuit has been settled, or never, preferably. Download the 50/50 songs that you love to continue to listen to them, and to talk about the boycott every day and spread it wherever you can, everywhere you can. Honeys even made a quick checklist for anyone who wants to participate in the boycott and who wants to make sure that they are doing things correctly to best support the members at this time. The entire official boycott statement put out by the United Honeys account reads, and yes, we're going to read through this together. Follow along, class. It reads, Honeys United, a global collaboration between fans of the girl group 50/50, hereby declare a boycott against all products generating revenue for Attract and Star Crew. Amidst the ongoing lawsuit regarding the artist's 50/50 exclusive contract, Attract released a new 50/50 album titled The Beginning for the US market in collaboration with Warner Music on September 22nd, 2023. Attract's official position regarding this release was that it was a collection of the group's discography remastered for the US audience with 156,000 physical copies, printed to introduce good music to a broader audience. However, the fans of 50/50 who have been the actual consumers of this physical product were shocked when they saw the contents of the album. Of the 195 pages of the photo book, only 58 pages contained actual photos, and even those were in fluorescent monochrome, obscuring the members' features and disappointing fans. 123 of those pages featured nothing more than blank spaces or meaningless shapes like circles and squares. The excessive number of copies not based on actual demand and inflated page count reflect a lack of ethical consideration for the environment. This physical album with no previously unreleased music and dismal mixing quality is being sold for double the price of a typical album at $35. This firmly established our decision to start a boycott. We had hesitated on a boycott up until this point in the legal battle, fearing it might negatively impact the career of the still new artist. However, the time has come to raise our voice in support of ethical management practices within the K-pop industry. Our trust in Attract was shattered from the beginning of this legal dispute when the company chose destructive media tactics instead of responding to letters from 50/50's legal representation. Attract also ignored our statement pleading for action against malicious comments, which we presented on July 27, 2023. It is instead abetting a full-fledged misinformation campaign slandering not only 50/50 but us fans as well. This confirmed the hypocrisy behind Attract's statement that they would support their artists' growth and safeguard them. Furthermore, we became aware of criminal embezzlement claims against the company's CEO, John Hung-joon, or his English name, Oscar Toon, regarding the company's finances. After claiming an unrealistic investment of 8 billion Korean won, considering the actual activities of the group, the company's explanation for the sum has changed multiple times. The details of the company's unexplained spending and huge indirect expenses remain unclarified. Their claim that 1.6 billion Korean won of the 8 billion Korean won was not spent on actual expenses but deposited into Attract's account contradicts their assertion of a negative balance continuing for the company even if the music revenue reaches 10 billion Korean won. The perplexing logic of Attract and Star Crew being a single entity in the advanced contract with Interpark, but then becoming separate in investment and revenue calculations amounts to public deception. What most enrages us is the audacity of Attract's attitude towards the artist's health issues caused by severe dieting, excessive monitoring, and abuse under the name of artist management. The company has not claimed responsibility or shown any remorse regarding these abuses that occurred in their place of business. Observing the various issues in the physical album released in collaboration with Warner, we have concluded as consumers that the company lacks the human resources to support 50/50's continuous activities. This understanding is spreading not only among our fan base, but also among fans worldwide who love K-pop. Given our understanding of the company, we cannot remain silent. We initiate this boycott to spread awareness in the hope of positively influencing the K-pop industry. From now on, Honeys will boycott all products generating revenue for Attract and all related companies associated with its CEO, Jun Hong-jun. Additionally, we will also unsubscribe from all social media accounts operated by Attract. This boycott will continue until the legal dispute is resolved, not a result of coercion, but based on the artist 50/50's will, or the company fully resolves every issue we have pointed out in a manner acceptable to us as consumers. We earnestly request all K-pop fans who wish for the sustainable development of the K-pop industry aligning with universal human rights and ethical standards to join us in this movement. With all of that being said, I am glad that a boycott has finally been organized. I wish it had been organized sooner, but better late than never. Also, I do understand why Honeys didn't want to do one at first, because they wanted to show the industry and the members that there was still demand for them and interest in the group and their music. But honestly, I believe that the boycott should have been organized ever since those fuck-ass slowed down as snack versions of Cupid were released back in July. At this point, it was pretty clear that Attract was just a lost cause. And considering how much Orbits really did have an impact on the outcome of Luna's case, I feel like maybe the outcome would have been at least a little different right now. But considering the amount of dedicated Honeys is so small, I can't really say that for sure. But focusing on the past is pointless. Let's continue to spread the word about the boycott, the facts, and show the members just how much we support them and won't let Attract win. The only account that belongs to the members is the Instagram account Fifi_1118. This is where they posted their handwritten letter to fans, so please follow them there to show them that we want to support them and not the company who hurt and exploit them. Thanks again for watching my video. Right now, you can do your part to support 50/50 by joining the boycott. A petition is being organized right now, but I'm not sure when it will be out at this time. When the petition is up, I'll be sure to put it in a pinned comment down below so you can sign it. Considering everything that's happened, it's still really crazy to me that Warner had still decided to release this shit album with Attract. Not only because the album looks like shit and the lawsuit going on right now, but also they literally accused them of trying to poach the girls not even 4 months ago. This is insanity. I don't know the whole, the whole thing is just weird as fuck. If they had an ounce of dignity, they could have literally canceled this instead, but whatever might make you the most profit, I guess. I swear, all these companies are the fucking same. Orbits played such a big role in Luna getting their freedom, so it's time for Honeys to do the same for the girls as well. It's only been about a day into the boycott at the time of recording this, and I've already been seeing the impact of it. Other than that, we just have to wait to see what happens. In the meantime, let's continue to show 50/50 our support and stand our ground. Once any other important updates come out, I'll be sure to make a video to update everyone. If you haven't seen the first part, I highly recommend you do so to get a good concrete idea of what's really going on so we can continue to combat propaganda and misinformation. As for my next video, I was thinking of taking a look at the Odd Eye Circle album, the new Triple S album, or I know Billy is dropping a pre-release single in a couple of days from now, so I might check that out as well. I'm happy to take suggestions in the comments down below as well. Well anyways, thanks so much again for watching, and once again, free the girls and boycott Attract.